this is what. Okay, so when we were talking at the beginning of the podcast, got bites in my teeth. When we were talking at the beginning of the podcast, we were mentioning how just sitting down for breakfast, you hear things, and things just happen at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. And big things happen, and big things certainly did happen. Other big things certainly did happen, and what happened is the Sim City NES ROM is dumped and preserved safely in the hands of the Video Game History Foundation. All is well and good, and it seemed like it was very, very touch and go for a while there. We know the story. We're gonna keep it pretty freaking vague.
Yeah, we were following this for weeks. I know we can say it's public how this happened. Super Collector, our pal Steve Lynn, made a purchase just to make sure the ROM got dumped and preserved.
Right.
A substantial purchase. I will say that. An insane purchase that's why Steve fucking rules.
Yeah. He's a superhero.
He's a superhero. Steve's the superhero of the video game community and preservation. He is.
So, the ROM has been dumped. It will be available at some point. Do not harass Frank about when that will happen.
Frank Cifaldi.
Yeah. The one of the cartridges has been sold. One is still in the person's hands who found the cartridges.
By the way, they were on display, both of them.
Yep.
At PRGE. That's where I spoke to the person. I said, I didn't delve too much into it because this is before we knew what was happening. It sounded like a lot of movement happened that week.
Everything happened Saturday night.
Okay.
Because everything happens. Everything happens Saturday night.
This was my fear the whole time.
As of Saturday night, things were looking at as of Saturday, at the auction, things weren't so happy, maybe necessarily about
prospects of this.
The prospects were looking kind of.
I can
a
say,
little grim.
Fuck it. I can say it because this has been resolved.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
There was a chance
that the ROM wasn't going to be dumped.
That someone was going to purchase both for an insane amount of money and then lock both SimCity carts away potentially.
Yeah.
And which would potentially mean that no one would have access to the ROM. Which would be awful, obviously, for video game history preservation, and for the community. So that was dire if that happened. I found out about dollar amounts I heard, and I was like, shit.
Yep.
So again, this is great news, Steve, you are a hero. Especially with other things that are going on, that you did this. This is fantastic.
Big moves were made, and the next morning, Frank and I built a coal factory.
Oh yeah, let's just walk me through the actual experience. Like it looked cute.
Oh yeah, I mean it was. So I mean, obviously it was out on the floor. I think it was on display.
One was for play, and then one was display.
One was out for play. So we weren't the first people to do this, but I went down to see Frank, and
Frank was in the
museum.
Had all the Atari displays.
Which had all the Atari displays, and I had gone to find him to basically make some donations and pick up some stuff to bring back home and give to some friends, because they were giving away little Video Game History Foundation buttons and stickers and stuff, for donations. And he was like, "Hey, check it out." And he points, and it's on his screen. He's got the little file. I retweeted the tweet, and he's just got the little file on there. And he's like, I think he said he hadn't even fired it up yet, and he's like, I actually haven't messed around with it or played with it yet. And so we fired it up, and we're like, man, that's NES music we haven't heard.
It was a new theme.
Yeah, it was new. It was new music, and we're like, oh, that's good. I'm like, that's a pretty title screen. Yeah, it is. So
you were just reveling in it?
Yeah, we were reveling in it for a minute. So we started it up, and just real quick, we put down like a residential area, and Bonnie and I and Frank are sitting there. We put down a residential area, And then we go, well, we need power. So we put down some coal, coal power. And then, we realize we're starting to get a crowd, and we're like, okay. So we just go to the disasters, pick monster, and just watch the monster emerge from the sea. Comes out onto the
Was it Bowser? What was it?
No, it looked like it had big fucking horns. It wasn't
Okay.
Bowser. Oh, but the mayor was in it with the green hair.
Oh,
and
look at the
everything.
mayor in there?
Yeah, the mayor was there.
Okay.
He's he's real cute. He looks like an 8-bit version. He's not as colorful, but he
same guy.
runs out on the screen and screams, and says, oh no, a monster's attacking. And the monster comes out and steps on the coal the coal factory, and and then leaves the residential area alone and just walks off into the water. And Frank goes, well, I guess he doesn't like the pollution. And then we just shut it down, and that was it. But it was a cool thing.
It was fun using the controller and the arrow. And it was fine.
It was just, I mean, he
like
was,
Super
he
Nintendo.
was just doing it with the keyboard. I mean,
I was with the
yeah,
keyboard.
we're just doing it with the keyboard.
What was the sort of the map like? Wait, who the hell is calling me now? While you explain that.
I don't know who's calling you now. The layout was, fairly sizable. I mean, it looked just like Sim City, like you would expect it to look on the NES. I mean, it looked like the PC version. I mean, people have seen the video of it, so I mean, it's not like I can say it looked any different. It was just kind of magical to see the ROM file, I guess, on the. Yeah, to just see the ROM file there sitting on a computer, knowing that it's safe.
It's safe.
It has now been archived.
So that was a great bit of news that happened.
That was probably one of the more, if not the most exciting thing I think that happened at PRG.
Because there's still ROMs out there that we don't know if they're dumped and saved somewhere from games that are unreleased.
Oh yeah.
And plus ones that haven't been found yet. I mean, Frank had a whole binder of box art of games that are there. And I said, that one, I never heard that one. I was, oh yeah, those ones we haven't even found the game yet. We don't know if where those games even are. There was a story.
Yeah, I caught the last chunk of his panel, and he pulled up a list of games where he was
they know it was produced, but they don't know the ROM is.
Basically, we should have ROMs of the, or there should be ROMs of these available, but we don't know. Or something like that. So basically, like a list of games that he's still trying to hunt down ROMs for.
They know that the prototype's out there,
or there should be.
There should be. Oh yeah, because there's one that came up. I believe it was I think it was a Color Dreams one that they know the guy who had the prototype, 12, 15 years ago, and he just disappeared.
I think he brought that up at his panel actually.
I remember. I think it was Frank telling about it or someone else, and I was just like, yeah. So we don't know where the guy is, or the only prototype we know of that game.
Yeah, I think he actually told that exact story at his panel.
And that's a real possibility. So people that are out there that could be hoarding these for whatever reason, because you want to have something special locked away, like that guy in Toy Story, locking away a limited edition of a game. What happens when, I hate to keep death constantly, but what happens when you're gone or something happens and that game's lost to the annals of time potentially? That's not good for anyone. You're just being selfish if that happens. So, Superhero Steve helped win the day. The good guys won. The good guys won, and I'm happy this is out there. Maybe a certain NES punk might talk about this game in the future. We'll see. It could be something special. We'll see.